Hello and welcome to the Otherworld podcast. Today, my name is Nick and I'm here with my two co-hosts today, Daniel Real and Callum Rogers.
Hello, everyone.
Hello. You'll notice
Uh,
things are a little bit different than usual. There are no burgers to talk about this episode because we've all been stuck at home.
Yeah.
And we're filming this through webcam, so hopefully everything technically works fine.
Sounds good, looks good. Hopefully, we'll see.
Hopefully, yeah. Anyway, how's the lockdown been treating you lads?
Well, apparently people want heaps of bread, and that is
Yeah.
the story of my life. Basically, right now, I am currently in the progress of my second 60-hour week, so it's pretty fun.
Yeah, thrilling times.
Tell us about the bread increase, because if you don't know, Nick makes bread.
Yeah, so we make all the supermarket bread, all the bread that goes on the shelves, like for New Zealand people, you'll know when I say the varieties like Vogel's, Nature's Fresh, Molenberg, Freya's, Country Split, Mackenzie's.
Like all the supermarket
Yeah, it's
bread,
just like
right?
supermarket or commercial like sliced bread basically. And like the second the lockdown got announced, people just started panic buying the bread
Again.
because they were
Let's go.
worried that it wasn't made in the city that they were in, and it just we have to like meet demand, supply and demand, so our numbers just increase. At the moment, like we do like a 21-hour days is what we normally do for baking bread for the whole of South Island. But with the demand, hours actually went up by an extra like 10 to 15 hours per day, which actually means we're like non-stop running and it's more than 24 hours. So we're not keeping up. We're actually falling behind over and over again.
You can't see because I've had it all now, so the webcam cannot see it. But I sold all my cold foils and I have bought up all the bread. So thank you, Nick, for providing.
You just paid my
Investing in bread.
I have all of the bread.
Yeah, the panic buying was quite comical.
Yeah.
No, it's not like we've ever had lockdown before or anything last year, and everyone realized, oh, we actually just got enough food in the supermarket.
Yeah, like the two two of the main things that get panic brought is bread and toilet paper. Both of those are made here in the city. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
It's just
I
like
don't know what people are thinking, right? They're like, "Oh, pandemic's coming. We're gonna run out of food because we can't import it." It's like you realize, like 90% of New Zealand is farmland, right? Like, with how many sheep? You eat
all
some of
that,
it, you know?
all that
Like,
meat
you're not
comes
gonna
from
run
New
out.
Zealand. Yeah.
It's quite fun. I felt quite ashamed, honestly, because I was at my parents' place for dinner when the lockdown got announced, and I get a text from my flatmates in the group chat going, Callum, we're out of toilet paper. We need toilet paper. So I stopped by the supermarket on the way home, hanging in shame, being an individual purchasing toilet paper on the night that lockdown was announced. Just like the walk of shame through the supermarket aisles.
Just admitting that you use toilet paper.
Yeah.
Shame. Shame on you.
I can't believe you use toilet paper, man.
I know. Too afraid to shit in the shower, I guess.
Waffle stomp it down. I mean, get a bidet, man.
Yeah, exactly. No.
Aside from that, how's the rest of your lockdown been? Like, what have you guys been doing during your lockdown? Well, I've been working. What have you guys actually been doing?
So we just came back from Nelson, and obviously we got put in lockdown that night. We filmed the podcast on Tuesday. So Wednesday I woke up and I have like this like tingling in my throat. And I probably still don't sound right because I was sick as a dog for like the whole week. It was really bad, just sneezing and coughing and you're dying. So yeah, I got a COVID test, and it came back negative yesterday, which is nice. Cause
always good to hear.
Yeah, I just have regular shitty flu, so if I sound a bit off, that's why.
I was the same as well. I think I covered it earlier, but I was messaging you saying that I would like gone sick as well. Got a COVID test, came back negative, which is a positive because had we come back positive, the whole of South Island, I'm pretty sure would have been just completely ruined because we were at a Rose event.
If you guys had come back positive, half my work would have had to been shut down.
Yeah,
I would have been in immediate close contact. There had been a close contact to those people.
Yeah, so the way it is currently is that New Zealand, all the cases currently are in the North Island. New Zealand has 2 main islands. And it's all centered in like Auckland and Wellington and a few kind of smaller cities up there. There's none currently in the South Island, but there are lots of like close contacts and stuff. And there's like still a lot of potential for there to be cases down here, which is why we're in lockdown, albeit for like a shorter amount of time.
I think it's like 130 people are close contacts in the South Island, which doesn't actually sound like a lot. There's a very small number. But any one of those can turn into an actual case, and then that changes
then
everything.
Goes crazy, right? Because like we know how like dangerous it can be. Just like one case, we spot one case in Auckland, immediate lockdown, and there's still like 100 people infected, right?
Yeah, I think
Like,
we're at like almost
so
100, 170 already. It's
really?
like going up by 40 to 50 a day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it is like really important to contain it, right?
Yeah. It's a Delta variant. COVID got to buff this patch.
Way more like
it's just spreading like wildfire.
Yeah. Why'd they buff its attack range? I mean, seriously.
Yeah, I don't know why they decided that COVID needed a buff. In my opinion, maybe needed to be nerfed. Yeah, or an errata that it shouldn't spread anymore. No.
And so what about you, Callum? You've been home for now.
I've been attempting to do my study.
How's that going?
Yeah, same.
Not super well. Could be going better. I don't know. I've been trying. I've got a separate desk in my room, so I'm trying to have like I do my study at that desk and only study. Trying to have some environment separation. To try and simulate like leaving an environment like I do to go onto campus to study. But
that's a good idea, right? Because like what I find is like my work desk, because I'm studying IT, my work desk is like my computer desk, so it's where my computer is. And often, like, you know, if I'm building a deck, I pull up the list. So I have the deck list there, and I can build it, and I can see it. And then I have clouds all over my table, and then, you know, you're drinking lots of coffee, mugs everywhere. It just gets messy really fast, and it's like easy to do that. And then when you want to actually work, having a clean environment. That's on Nick. Yeah, having a clean environment to work in is so important. Just like helps you get started, you know. So many times you're like, oh, I need to do this, and you look at your desk and it's like covered in stuff, and you're like, later, you know.
Yeah. Yes. So. Fortunately for me as well, though, with the studying psychology, all my stuff is done through the psychology department, which is a big bonus. Having studying on behavior and how stuff affects people, all the people in the department understand quite well the impacts of COVID and lockdown, so everything's catered to pretty well, and the department's pretty fast to switch over, which is
it's not too bad in IT either, actually. Like, because our lectures are like technologically proficient, as you'd expect. So, you know, they just know how to use all the online technologies and can adapt like really quickly. So that was really cool.
Yeah.
You don't have teachers going, I can't use my mic, help, you know.
Yeah. Which helps.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I guess this is a fab podcast. So there's been some fab happenings recently. So just today, breaking news.
Do we want to talk about the spoilers, or do we want to hold off on the spoilers and talk about?
Well, we'll start on the spoilers. Let's just get into it.
It's big news. Start on a high.
It's big news. So,
yesterday from the recording this podcast, so probably like 2 days ago by the time you actually watch this podcast.
Yeah.
So DMArmada, Red Zone Rogue, and Kitchen Table TCG had like a mini like tournament where they played against each other in Ultimate Pit Fight for like the right to spoil different cards. And today we got to see what those cards are. So today, DMArmada spoiled Lexi Live Wire. Would you like to read it, Nick?
She's a new Ranger hero that we've been seeing the picture of recently, the one in the article. She's in what we call an elemental Ranger hero, which is an interesting name. It suggests that earth, fire, air, water, you know, the last airbender is an actual thing in this universe.
And
That's it.
leaked next
I am the
hero.
avatar. Yes.
She is
Yeah.
part of the Avatar, the Fire Nation will be fighting
Yeah.
the Water Nation at some point.
Yeah.
But even still, she's a 40 health hero. She's got 4 intellect, pretty standard. I wouldn't really expect too much change to be happening there. Oh, we had a bit of cut out, but don't worry about that. But her card reads Essence of Ice and Lightning, and it says you may have Ice and Lightning cards in your deck, which would suggest that she wouldn't be able to have any other element in her deck at this current point in time, unless it was a generic.
Yeah.
Once per turn action, turn a face down card in your arsenal face up. If it's a lightning card, your next attack this turn gains go again. If it's an ice card, create a frostbite token under the target hero's control, go again. The interesting thing about this is it gives your next attack go again, but it doesn't necessarily have to be that lightning card that you flip face up. You could reveal something that is like a buff and then reloads and then reload an arrow and then the arrow now has
you can turn your like lightning cards into like Morphin Skies type things, right? So you just put a lightning card in there and then you just give your E-Strike go again.
Just go again on demand. It's pretty.
I mean, if we know anything from Chain, it's pretty good, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
Shadow
Just to be able to
Poetry.
give things go again, and this is even more unconditional. I mean,
Yep.
you have to have the lightning card, but you can use it on any attack, right? I think.
And so
you got here, Callum?
Yeah. Well, I think the most interesting thing is like Elemental Ranger. So we know that now. I guess the talent of Arya is Elemental, right?
Yeah.
Like how we had Shadow Runeblade. The essence of Ice and Lightning, I like a lot because it feels a little bit of how they've almost made up for there only being 3 classes for like draft and sealed and stuff.
Yeah.
And having this slight gatekeeping of, I'm assuming, elemental cards, like specific element cards.
So our running theory amongst the 3 of us, I don't know, I assume people probably have thought of this outside of here as well, is that there'll be 3 different elements in this set, and each hero will have access to 2 of them. So one will have ice and lightning, the other one will have ice and something else, and the other one will have lightning in the third thing.
Yeah. So basically, that way you can have a draft environment that's centered on these 3 generic light cards that at least 2 of the heroes can have access to it anytime, right? So if you print a lightning card, you can be sure that at least
2 heroes can play
a good amount of the draft table is actually going to be able to use it, right?
Yeah.
Instead of just like, if you're printing like 3 heroes and you have 3 talents for each of them, then they're practically just class cards, right? There's not really any interplay.
There's not really a point at that point to name them something else, right? You might as well just keep it as the class card.
And it mimics Monarch draft, right? Where you have shadow cards and they're being contested by 2 heroes as well.
Yeah.
So
I think it's
slightly
important for it to be this way because the talent cards replace generics, right?
Yeah.
You have less generics in a pack than you do an arc and Welcome to Raid.
Yeah, and that's
so
I think that's important too.
Yeah, you need to have them be somewhat accessible so that people can build good decks.
Yeah.
Because you don't want people to draft bad decks, Like you want people to be able to pretty comfortably hit 30 cards? 40 cards. I can't remember.
30 cards
is minimum.
30 cards.
Yeah.
You want people to be pretty comfortably hit 30 cards because it feels really bad to play a bauble or bad cards, You don't want to be playing like
you don't want to be like I think
deck,
like
right?
the more we go on, the more we want to move away from just a mash pile of 30 cards to try and hit that 30, which is what you see in Arc and in Wraith a little bit is people just mash cards
build
in
the pile,
right?
Yeah.
30, Whereas this lets you probably have maybe 40 cards that are playable, but you can cut down to 30 so the deck's actually a little bit better or something,
Yeah. The way I kind of see it is that there's going to be like competition for the good cards in those slots. Like, if you have a good lightning card, there's going to be at least 2 of the 3 heroes that want that lightning card.
Yeah.
So it's going to drive the demand of those cards up, especially like for Lexi, because I'm not sure how her class cards are going to work, but her character card specifically asks for these lightning and ice cards. So she's going to have a high demand for those cards.
I just love the Ice and Lightning, mainly because it makes signaling and reading draft signals way more complex. Because, like
Yeah.
Daniel mentioned, there's more competition for, say, lightning cards. So if suddenly all the packs has got missing lightning cards, like if our theory holds true that
Yeah.
2 classes compete over lightning cards, you then have to read that you've got 2 possible classes to your right now, and then you go, oh, I'm getting cut off from say ice as well as lightning now, so they're probably on Lex. There's probably Lexi somewhere to my right, rather than whatever the other hero might be. Which I think is really cool, because I think it means you can get really creative with your signaling as well. And whereas in Monarch, you like suddenly your light cards get cut out, and you can rule off 2 heroes. Here, it's not quite the case still, and you can be a little more creative with how you cut off signals or send false signals. There's a little more, I guess, creativity.
Because I mean, if we're assuming this is true, each
Yeah.
hero only has one thing that they're not. So it means no matter what hero you're playing, you're competing with you're competing for
Someone else.
cards with someone at the table, no matter what.
Yeah,
You're never going to
exactly.
be the only chain player or the only Livia player, and you're just going to get a free round of everything, right? You're always going to have to make those decisions about what you're picking. Not everything's going to wheel, because other people are looking at those cards and seeing if they slot into their hero as well. So I think that would be a really cool way to take it.
Yeah, exactly. And as we've seen in Monarch before with like the light cards, there are certain talent cards that are geared towards one hero more than the other. Like the most obvious example I can think of is Consuming Volition for Levia. Fits in way better in Levia than it does in Chain. Though it still
You mean
does
I think
similar.
you got the wrong card.
Consuming
You mean
Aftermath.
Consuming
Yeah,
Yeah.
Aftermath.
Consuming
Yeah, yeah.
Volition is a room blade card, and I love it.
So
but
that would probably still
Yeah.
be the case here, but it's got
But
a
yeah.
little more.
Yeah,
more
I
depth to
imagine
it.
so, but yeah, at least it means there is a little bit more versatility though as
Yeah.
well.
You know what I think would be like super cool as well? And this probably ruins like the draft theory a little bit. But if 2 of the heroes, or maybe just one of the heroes, had like 2 of the types, but one of them had 3, you know? Like maybe like they have a downside like Kano with the 30 life, but they get to have their cream of the pie. They get to play all 3 types, assuming there's 3, or 4 or whatever, how many there are. They get all of them, and then they have their power comes from interweaving all these different cards to play into each other, rather than other heroes only get 2. I think that would be quite a cool idea.
Yeah.
And it'd be interesting. I think that it feels
It'd
like
be
a
a bit
little
messy, right? It'll be the hard class to solve, but I think that's an interesting idea. One of the big questions about this hero is the Frostbite token, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we don't know what it does, but in her so there's like a little article beside her that just tells you, channel the power of lightning and ice, and one of the sentences it says, or call upon the power of ice to disrupt her opponent's every move, which would sort of seems to be suggesting towards some sort of way of limiting actions per turn or action points or something, which sounds like a
Please do
chain
not let it
shutter
go
downer.
Please do not let it go again, I beg of you.
I think it's kind of, we've got some clues, right? So because it's a once per turn action, it's somewhat feasible that you could do it every turn, right?
Yeah.
So maybe I don't think it would be a stacking effect.
I don't think so, but I think you can probably create a bunch of Frostbite tokens, and there might be something to do
What do you
with
mean by
Frostbite tokens.
stacking effect? Like each they have an individual thing, or you need to reach
chains
like a
tokens,
threshold?
right? Like
Oh,
chains tokens
okay, yeah.
don't even leave the
Yeah.
battlefield. I
Yeah.
feel like the most likely thing, like what this screams at me, is that your opponent's next action costs 1 more resource or something like that. A small minor niggling thing that's meant to hurt decks that want to play really lean and aggressive against you, right?
Yeah. Go
Just
wide.
slow them down, right? Like that's what ice is. It's trying to freeze people in place. Frostbite is your parts degrading so that you can't move better, So I think that's kind of what it's alluding to.
What I'd personally like to see with the Frostbite is it can either be niggly or a slightly more, I guess, extreme ailment, because when you get Frostbite, it's quite an extreme thing. With the tokens actually stacking up. So the token reaches a threshold, and then once your opponent has 3 Frostbite tokens or however many they want to do, then there's a big effect for 1 turn.
I think there needs to be some sort of answer to it that helps resolve it, get rid of it if it is a very detrimental effect, does limit a lot of actions.
Yeah.
By stacking it, there has to be some sort of way to bring that back, be able to counter response to it.
might not make a lot of sense to people, but it's kind of how I'm perceiving it, is that Frostbite doesn't really sound like something that would stick. Like, to me, like Frost would stack, or like freezing, like a freezing token would stack. But Frostbite just seems like a one and done. I don't know the name of it.
Yeah.
I probably lost you, but
Yeah,
No, I think I get
I
it.
just
sort of
the
get
way
where
the
you're
name
going
is.
from. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Just,
think it would be definitely be interesting to see what it turns out to be, especially because Ranger has access to so many cards that already do similar things. Like if it's next action costs 1 resource, like being able to stack hamstring shots and frostbite tokens can just be like the like the possibilities of just crippling your
it's pretty
opponent
crazy. Yeah.
are
Yeah.
pretty
Making
crazy.
everything cost a crazy amount. And then if it is action 1, you've got Red and Ledger as well, which would
Oh
just
no, you
like...
don't.
Yeah.
Red and Ledger's Azalea
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's
specialization.
right. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
correct. Yeah.
So actually, here we're getting to it. So I haven't talked to you guys about this, but I've said all the nice things I have to say, and I have a few criticisms. I have quite a few things I don't like. So, and I'm going to be controversial here, so you can tell me I'm wrong in the comments. But this hero doesn't strike me as a card that, or a hero that plays very well with the existing Ranger cards. There are a few exceptions, but I don't see how, with all this focus on lightning and ice, that scrap shot is going to make it in, or your second shot. These other like Ranger cards don't really seem like they have a home here, and they just don't seem to fit.
Yeah.
Like, she's
See,
so different from Azalea that it's like, it's like white and black.
yeah. I think I slightly disagree. Not because of frostbite, but because of the go again effect. I think being able to I played Ranger quite a bit in Blitz, and go again is actually a premium in Ranger, especially on cards. You'll notice all of the Ranger cards, apart from second shot, they don't have go again because they've got an on hit. I think stuff like giving sleep dart, the ability to give sleep dart and all these really scary on hit Ranger like arrows go again, and still have another threat to potentially follow up with, is kind of nuts. In my opinion, I think that's where most of the potential with the existing Ranger cards comes from. I do think a lot of the Ranger cards are quite good, but I'm not too sure on my evaluation of Ranger cards just because they've been so, I guess, tainted, for lack of a better word, by Azalea, right?
Do you want to know what card I really
having a
want
hard
to be
time.
really good in this hero? I want 3 of a kind to be really good.
We'll go to that later. Actually, I'm going to talk about that later. But I have a few other things as well. While I get my criticisms out of the way, not a huge fan of how the hero looks either. I like her younger art a lot better, and I thought the art would grow on me for this hero, but it hasn't. I don't like the weird neck thing she has going on behind her. And I just think she's a little bit boring. Just not me, you know.
Not your wife?
No, not my waifu. Not my waifu. Yeah. I don't know. And she doesn't really like portray that lightning and ice theme to me very well, you know? Like, she has a crystal bow and some lightning around her weapon, but that's it, you know?
Yeah.
I would like to see like something that was more cued into those. Like, when I saw this hero, I thought like magical crystal energy kind of stuff. From like the deep blues. But I didn't get ice and lightning when I saw it, the art. So yeah, just a couple misses for me. But I think they could also be positives for other people.
Yeah.
You know? So
For
tell me
me,
if I'm
she
wrong.
gives off she gives off a real cold vibe. The aurora that's going on in the background, the night look, the not necessarily the way she's dressed, but like it just gives off like it is cold where she is. So that just gives
She
me
does have some like majesty to her, you know?
yeah.
She has that like above it all kind of look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She does
She's
seem
flying.
she does seem like a balance between all of the elements that I think they're trying to capture, rather than leaning super hard into them, because it almost looks like the elemental stuff. It's quite subtle, right? Like Daniel mentioned, she almost looks like she's ascended, like some sort of ascension thingy going on. but not quite. But yeah, I think I personally like the art quite a lot, but I can see the wanting it to hone into more of the elemental stuff, being more front and center.
As a magic hero, she just doesn't compare to Kano, the artwork for Kano or Viserai, like at all, not even close, for me. So we'll see. We'll move on to the next card before I get destroyed in the comments.
I did want to ask you guys, well, on the subject of elemental, if there is a third, which we are assuming there is, do you guys want to take a guess what the third one is?
So we're assuming the third element.
Yeah.
I think it's nature of some form of nature.
Yeah, like air, earth, wind. We thought about fire because, like ice and fire is kind of like a
opposites of each other.
Opposite combo kind of thing.
I feel like
see that on a lot of games.
Fire isn't represented well in Aria from all the images we've seen so far.
Yeah.
So I feel very doubtful that it is there. I do feel that water, nature, and air are three ones that are very high up there for being the next slot. I feel like water's probably not it because of ice. I feel like air's probably not it because of lightning. Like they're not similar, but they are pretty close.
Yeah. I think air and fire aren't it. Mainly because the fantasies of fire and air are taken up by Volcor and Mysteria.
Yeah.
If they're gonna if they want to hone in on like region fantasies a lot,
they do have the floating city, and they do have like
that is true.
But you could argue that it's like the lightning that's keeping that up, as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And like also, I don't want to say this idea of having more elements as like a guaranteed. Like there are some really strong cases against this idea. Like Bard has been pretty heavily teased, and I don't know how Bard fits into this dynamic very well at all. So
give a horn made out of ice.
Yeah. I sing about lightning all the time.
He just plays electric guitar, man.
Yeah, true.
That would be cool. I'll play that. Get
some death metal guy. Imagine that from RO. Some death metal fella. That'd be kind of sick.
That'd be cool. Alright, next card. So we'll go on to the weapon.
Yeah.
I'll read this one. I like this card a lot more. I think this card is a lot more exciting than the hero card. So it is the elemental ranger weapon, so you can't use it for Azalea. And it's called Shiver, and you can see it's very clearly an ice bow.
Yeah.
And has once per turn instant, so not an action. 1 cost, you may put an arrow card from your hand face up into an empty arsenal zone you control. If you do choose one, it gains +1 until end of turn, or it gains Dominate until end of turn. This card is like, gives away a lot, right?
This card gives away that there is more things, and we can actually like sort of develop what we think the more things are very more clearly from this card. Like for starters, for one, it's an ice bow clearly. The image of her artwork holds a lightning bow, which would suggest there is 2 bows straight off the bat.
So if we notice as most people have probably noticed on the images down the bottom, the code is Ellie. So the code is from the Blitz stick. I'm assuming.
Oh, okay.
So if you look at the code has a set numbers afterwards, and they go up past 180 on the card so far.
Yeah, so the token, the code says LEE.
Yeah, all three of them say LE3 and
ELE. Yeah. So like the Bolton Monarch Blitz sticks had BOL, so I'm assuming it's that. So we can assume that this is the token weapon in the set, right?
If you look at all the Bolton cards, they only go up to how many cards are actually in the deck. Whereas what I'm saying is these cards
go 180, right?
Yeah, 180, which would suggest 180 cards. I don't think there's a Blitz deck or a hero deck that will have 180 cards in it.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
So that's why I think ELE is actually the set code, which doesn't make sense. It doesn't feel right. I thought it'd be like tail.
Oh, okay. Elemental, I guess. ELE. Yeah. That's true. Elemental, well, the token points out that it's the draft token thing. Which, when you mention the other bow, it reminds me a lot of what they did. They're probably doing a very similar thing that they did in Monarch, where they have the Majestic weapon, which is focused on a far more specific playstyle.
Yes.
Like, this is your draft weapon. Yeah. It does most of what you need the hero to do. So it interacts well enough with the hero. Like Axes and Bolton interacts with Bolton. We have Raiden super hyper focused on the charge aspect of Bolton. So we'll
Yeah,
probably
well, they
see
require
that.
some more niche cards to make use of, right? Or like a more
Yeah.
refined strategy, right?
Exactly, yeah. But
Oh,
I think this card is nuts. But I'm not going to say which part of the card I think is nuts first.
yeah. Let's just
You
go over
guys
some
go
of like
ahead.
the interesting parts. Like before we talk about the power level
Yeah.
of it, let's talk about just what it like insinuates the rest of the set could be like.
Yeah.
So the first thing that really grabbed me was Arsenal zone you control. So
Multiple
it's
Arsenal zones.
practically like confirmed at this point. Like it was teased with Command and Conquer, but there
Yeah.
are going to be multiple Arsenal zones in this set. You know, you're going to be able to Arsenal multiple cards somehow.
Legendary armor piece that is a quiver. And gives
the
them multiple
age-old
zones.
Azalea
Imagine,
you
yeah.
know?
Imagine having two arsenals. You've got your lightning card down in one of the arsenals. You got your other arsenal with the card face down. You use Skullbone cross wraps, opt one, get dominant. You opt one, get your arrow on top. You can cycle shit, and you can use go again. You can have frost. You could have your frost token. You can do so many more creative things with Lexi's ability with multiple arsenals.
Yeah, and the other thing that I want to point out really quickly is once per turn instant. So you can actually use this to set up a card in Arsenal, as Nick pointed out earlier, that you can just use it on your opponent's first turn. So you can say, I'm going to go second. They get to start. They attack you. You block with 2 cards, and then you just Arsenal one of your cards with this, face up, and then you have a 5-card second turn, and you can just really like come at people really strong out of the gates.
Yeah.
And I think this is like a really, really smart decision game, like game design wise, because we've seen a lot of really powerful heroes and strategies at the moment want to go first. You know, Chain wants to set up a Soul Shackle. Bravo wants to get out one of their like important auras, and I think if Guardian is in the set, that's going to be even more emphasized. Is that Guardian will want to go first. And then you see other cards that decks that really care about their arsenal or charge mechanics. You know, Bolton wants to go first to set up the charge, and this hero can punish that. They can say, well, you can go first, that's fine, but I'm going to set up a card, and I'm going to come at you with a 5-card hand and just really take the tempo, and you're going to have to work so hard to come back into the game. I'm going to shut you out. I'm going to have 5 cards. I'm going to lay you down with Frostbite tokens.
Yeah.
And just make it so hard for you to come back. To the point where, like, these decks might actually want to go second to just try and stop them from doing that so much. At least punish them for setting it up.
Yeah.
You know?
The part that I am most excited about with this card is to do with deck building, is the +1 ability.
You're just being an Ira.
No, the +1 ability, the ability for that to change your card split, your resource split, to make your cards hit breakpoints, because as we see a lot, like yellow cards tend to be like used like Scar for Scar, red is 4, yellow is 3.
Yeah.
So you can get more creative with your potentially your blues and yellows.
Yeah.
To go, I need more resources, but I'm able to utilize this bow and ensure that they still hit the necessary breakpoints to get over a 1-card block and stuff. Yes, it
does
does
have to be an arrow, but
yeah,
you know, like
you get more creative with your arrow colors.
There is like 3 cost yellows, right, in the arrow slot already.
Yep. Second shot.
Yeah, so you
Yellow
instantly turn
one.
that to a 4-1 as well. Yeah.
But I just like that
headshots
aspect
are
a
3
lot.
cost.
Yeah.
I just like that a lot because it just lets you get headshot gets the bonus of being put face up. You're getting headshot gets another +1 from that, or dominate if you want.
Turns to 6. Yeah, turns to 6 or it turns to 5 dominate. It's pretty good.
I do think it does play a little bit into my criticism of Lexi, and that like when you guys are talking about it, you guys are thinking about, you know, second shot, sleep dart, these traditional ranger cards, but we know from Lexi that that's not what she actually wants to do. She wants to turn up lightning cards and ice cards, so it's going to be like really dependent on how those cards work. You know,
I think
if they really good on dominate.
I think
multiple arsenal zones.
Yeah, well, I guess
Yeah.
that could work. But
Yeah,
yeah,
multiples, like, I can see her doing a thing where she does lightning and then a normal arrow, or an ice arrow and then a normal arrow, you know? Like, these are other options that she can do. And I mean, it probably limits her turn because it's probably better to go lightning and ice or ice and lightning
yeah.
to do something better. But
How?
she does have the options of
Yeah.
doing, lightning into
Yeah.
a normal. Yeah.
I do
I think
think
that's
Daniel
gonna
has a fair point though.
I think it's going to be very difficult to pull that kind of thing off
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
Ranger already has such an issue consistently drawing arrow cards with the amount of non-attack actions and defense reactions they have to play in the deck to keep up with other builds. So to try and ensure that you're getting your ice and lightning effects as well as your key Ranger attacks like Remorseless is going to be really difficult. So
Yeah.
I
think
think
think-
with
that's going to be
her,
a bit of a trap.
yeah, I think it is. I think the multiple arsenal zones and the suggestion of being able to do this in your opponent's first turn suggests that she can build towards a more aggressive build where she doesn't have to run as many actions or as many defense reactions, and she becomes slightly more arrow heavy.
Well,
Which
the
would
the Lexi
change.
effect doesn't work with Shiver if you're going second because this places it face up, and the Lexi effect requires you to turn a card
Yeah,
face down.
yeah. So you ignore the
yeah,
Lexi effect. The Lexi
yeah,
effect could be, like a setup play. Like, you
yeah,
do this first turn attack and then set up for
Yeah.
Lexi next turn and then do something more,
yeah. I do think
Oh,
Daniel does raise a fair point though with
Yeah.
fitting in old Ranger cards because we've seen it. Especially, I think the jump again referencing Monarch because it is the most recent set. The jump from like Arc to Monarch with all the classes becoming gets hyper focused on all of their class cards.
yeah. Generics are getting cut like left, right, and center, right?
Bolton barely like there's a lot of generics that Bolton would love to run, but
But they're not
just
light cards,
doesn't. But
right?
they're not like Art of War in theory sounds great in Bolton, but
But it gets cut, right?
you see all the top Boltons and it's like you would love to run it, but the card gets cut because it's another non-light card that doesn't
Doesn't
reach has
synergize with your Lumina, doesn't synergize with your V.
which happens to be your
Um,
game plan as well. Yeah.
yeah. And those cards kind of enable you where Art of War is kind of a maybe.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's great, sometimes it's not.
So
So
I think, like Daniel said, we will see, I guess, a shift away
From her cards. I think
from a
still
card.
some of her arrows make it in, like,
Yeah.
some of the
yeah,
Runeblade cards make it in, like, meet and greet and
Yeah. Of
sometimes
course.
Crimson and Fellowship.
Yeah.
I think some of the arrow cards will make it in from this, but I think, yeah, you are
Yeah.
right that we are going to be moving towards a more Tales of Aria Ranger rather than a
yeah,
Arc. And
yeah. For people that want to see Azalea get a buff, I think the
Strange.
power boost that Azalea is going to get is going to be a legendary. We saw in Monarch that the two light heroes got class legendaries.
I
She
think we
got a warrior
can.
legendary and a prism illusionist legendary. So I think we'll see a ranger legendary, and that might be where we get the extra arsenal slot, as you said.
Or
So
I think we
Azalea,
can.
possibly an
Yeah.
interaction with existing equipment, like we saw with Runeblade, like Sonata Arcanix for Viserai. Like that
yeah,
card on paper alone, but with the interaction with Bloodsheath Skeletor.
yeah. A lot of the old heroes are kind of missing these like insane powerhouse cards, right? Like, Bolton has Luminar Ascension, and like the
He has
power
Beacon
level
of
of that
Victory as well.
one, yeah, and
Yeah.
Beacon of Victory. Power level of those cards are just absurdly high. They're more powerful than anything we'd seen in the previous sets. I mean, the other sets have powerful combos, but they rely on 2 or 3 cards being put together. Where the Bolton just has like a couple cards that are extremely powerful. It's the same with Prism and like Tome of Divinity, right? Is you just spend the whole game playing into that Tome of Divinity turn. And Chain with Art of War, I guess. Like, just the game has become a lot more focused on a few extremely powerful cards rather than putting a few together,
It's like setting
Just
up a turn
building up
that's
to them.
greater than the sum of its parts, right? That's
Exactly,
kind
right?
of what it.
Yeah. And most new heroes have 1 card or 2 cards in particular that really push it. So I think we could see like a Sonata Arcanix type effect for Ranger.
Yeah. Ranger
And
support, but yeah, I don't think the I personally don't think the Lexi's ability and stuff, although it seems super cool with this bow, I don't think it will interact as well with this bow as it will, assuming her majestic bow that's the lightning one, if that is in the set. I think we'll
yeah,
see that has
yeah,
more thematic synergy. It might not play out as better in practice, but
Yeah.
more thematic synergy with her ability.
Yeah. And lastly, we have, and this was spoiled by Louis from Kitchen Table TCG. Weave Lightning. So if you'd like to read this one out, Callum.
Weave Lightning. The next lightning or elemental attack action card you play this turn gets +3. If it's fused, it gains Go Again, and then the card itself has Go Again. It's a lightning action and blocks for 2, costs 0, and it's part of a color wheel as a rare. So the red, I'm assuming, gives +3, the blue +2. No, blue +1, and the yellow +2.
Yeah.
With an exciting new keyword being fused.
Yeah, so I think like one of the really interesting cards, I actually only just noticed when you said it, is it doesn't have to be lightning, it can be any elemental attack action.
Yeah.
First time I read it, I just thought it was only lightning. So it's like a nimblism that's slightly better at the moment.
Yeah, with reading the fuse thing. And if you go back to like the ice and lightning, right? Lexi's lightning stuff is the Go Again, and her ice stuff is the frostbite, or assuming some sort of card hate or hero hate. Combining this with the next elemental attack, so you give your ice elemental attack, which is to do with slowing them down, +3 and Go Again. You incorporate this lightning aspect into it. I think it's super cool.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead, Nick.
What I do like about this card is actually the border compared to if you look at the hero card and compare it to the Bravo specialization cards or the Bravo hero card, the hero has the same border as the Bravo specializations and the Bravo card. But this card alone doesn't. It actually is subtly different. Whereas
it's got different coloring.
yeah,
I think
this card only has 2 color zones to it, which is yellow and purple, and well, I guess pink because it crosses. Yeah. But the other ones have all the zone colors on them.
So the Bravo ones have the same zone colors as the full Aria border.
I just pulled them out to have a look.
Yeah. Oh, you pulled them out.
I was like, which would suggest that this is like, So it suggests that these are the specializations.
There are lots of different colors.
Yeah, they're more focused for the hero of this area, whereas this card would suggest that it's probably a more universal card.
Well, I think it makes sense. Yellow, right? The lightning, yellow kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Which means maybe we go full tin hat mode. Let's have a wee inspection of all the colors on the Aria one. We got blue, yellow, and green as the main
it's all
3
the colors of the rainbow.
3 elements confirmed. You heard it here first. I've cracked the code, guys.
What about orange?
Yeah, orange kind of molds into yellow. I'm a little bit colorblind, so we don't talk about that.
But yes, it does push towards. It does push towards more of the idea that there is 3 elements, and that every hero in the set is an elemental hero of some sort that has access to. That has like 2 essences or 3 essences or just 1 essence. But I think it's more likely that it is 2 essences each, and they're all elemental heroes of some sort, whether it be an elemental wizard or an elemental guardian, or I doubt it's a guardian because I don't think guardian makes sense for the way this elemental gameplay is going. But I think
I'm fully ready for us to be wrong on this, and it be
I am
bard, and
not make any sense at all, and just be like, huh? This is a miler.
Yeah. It's always fun to come up with ideas, but could be wrong. As for the fuse keyword, it's really hard to pinpoint that down because it's just if it's fused, like it's the same deal with the Monarch heroes when Soul was like teased.
Yeah, charge.
And everyone was trying to work out what Soul was. My prediction, this is the one I'm going with, is that ice cards and lightning attacks are going to have effects that you can reveal them to add some kind of effect. So if you play a lightning card, you can reveal an ice card to add an effect to it, or discard one, or like have some kind of interplay between the 2, right?
Yeah, be able to combine them together so that it comes together as 1 attack as opposed to 2 separate entities.
Yeah,
which would make fuse the word more sense.
So let's see if I'm wrong.
I know. I think you're right on that. I think,
but it's definitely like a condition that gets met that has more of a benefit.
Yeah.
That pushes a card above the standard power curve, which we've seen the theme pushing to a lot.
Which makes it feel like fusing cards isn't going to be easy every turn.
Yeah. Well, it's like we see with Bolton, right? With Battlefield Blitz being a 1 for 5 go again, guaranteed if you've charged, which is technically above power curve 1/5 go again.
Was hell above Curve, right? Like you compare it to Leg Tap, which is already a very powerful card. It has 3 block and it's 1 more power.
But if we look at like Torrent of Tempo, is like it's got conditional go again, like with a lot of cards. But which means the fused, is like a wee element thing to go again. I wonder how it's going to function.
Yeah.
Could be interesting. Definitely interesting.
Probably be more intuitive than we think.
Yeah. Last thing I'd touch on with this card is the artwork. So you can see like a hand reaching out of the heavens with lightning. And who do we know that lives in the heavens and uses lightning? Any guesses?
Out of War.
Yeah. Any others?
Zeus. Strike.
Yeah.
Celestial Cataclysm.
Are we finally going to see one of them? Are you finally going to have one of like the god characters explained a bit more? I want to know what's their deal, right? Like,
I want to know. Like,
they keep kind of electrocuting me and getting Snapdragon killing me, and I'm still not having any clue who they are. You know,
this one's build your own Nimblism and Snapdragon.
No.
Yeah.
Build your own Razor Reflex that hits.
No.
Is essentially this one.
Now, I want to be Snapdragon, and I want to go E-Strike Snapdragon. I want to go. Oh god damn it! I got Boris again. You know, tell me who they are so I can blame someone for all my misfortune. You know, who's the Command and Conquer guy? I don't know who he is as well.
Some fella from Volkor.
The 3 I want to know more about is Celestial Cataclysm, Enlightened Strike, and Outer War. All 3 of those people are very similar, but feel like they're different at the same time. They all look like exactly identical, but at different points, right?
They do kind of have like different
personalities,
temperaments. Like they seem slightly different.
Yeah, but they all look very similar, like like Zeus-looking figures with slight different,
See, I don't think Art of War is a fella like the E-Strike or Celestial Cataclysm one.
You don't?
I think Art of War, at least for me, leans more towards how do you call it, a conceptualization of war itself, because he's moving little figures in the artwork, little figurines. It seems like more like a conceptualization of people kind of commanding the battlefield from afar. But I would be cool if it was
meant to be. I do think it's meant to be literal, like the figure in it, the like god type character, is like controlling or like influencing mortal men to fight each other, right? You know,
yeah,
kind of like if you're into Greek mythology, Ares is always pushing people to fight each other and get into big battles, like that kind of thing. You know, to some kind of end, he is encouraging these people to fight each other.
Yeah.
Or he's just the LSS representation of Sun Tzu.
yeah. It could be James White. That's that the tin hat theory.
Not again. James White has been found in so many artworks over the years.
Funny thing is he will be in some of the artworks, which has probably got the wrong ones.
Yeah. Man with long brown hair has been found. It's James White, guys. We've found him.
Yeah, we have no idea who they are, but it would be really nice to know, like, what they are, what's their deal, why they're blowing up cities for no reason.
I want a story behind them. I want lore, in-depth lore into the like religion and God, entities that exist in this world.
The other thing I'm a bit sad about with this card, there's no flavor text here. Let's deal with that. There's space. Come on, guys.
The thing is it probably it might be an extended art version that has it, or but it is a rainbow.
Stop slacking, LSS. Where's the flavor text?
Where's the law book 2? I want to know what's happening.
I want a second law book. I think a second law book would be cool. Going like forwards with what we know now to have it compiled together.
Yeah. I thought I had earlier, just like a trifling thought, was that like it's been somewhat emphasized that like the barrier is waning, so that new people can come into Aria, and we talked about this in the lore podcast that we did. But what if fire is actually one of the elements, and it's a foreigner bringing fire into Aria? bringing something new that is like that like flourishes in this new magical environment that wasn't there before.
Do you think we
Maybe.
might
That
have
would
an
be
element of
such a
hero
cool
that isn't
idea.
actually from Aria, that's just
Possibly.
coming to Aria?
Yeah. Like,
And
what if
he's, like,
like
bringing
someone from
something?
Volcor, I mean, that's a go-to for fire, right?
Yeah.
Just comes in and his fire magic is like heaps more powerful, and he's like, sweet.
That'd be
Let's
cool.
just start messing with fire and lightning,
They did mention in like the teaser videos like that people coming into Aria to kind of steal the power.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
would be cool.
I think that's more based at us stealing Aria's power
Yeah.
to use for ourselves, though, rather than someone else actually going into Aria.
But it would be cool.
It would be.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think the problem with that is like my only problem is one of those heroes will then have, Volca water and use cards. Then the third
Right.
one would have to be a split region hero.
That's true.
Like a hero that's part Aria and part Volcor. And for me, I feel like we're a bit far away from that sort of idea to happen.
Yeah.
I think it is possible, like further down the track, we have split region heroes where they like, they wander between these two regions and they fight from these two regions. But I think we're a bit far away from that right now. I think there is more groundwork to be done before we reach that stage.
I think it would be cool to know like exactly what constitutes like someone's region border, right? Because at the moment it's just where they're from, right?
Yeah.
But if someone goes somewhere, right, and their hero is taken at that point in time, if a Volcor guy goes to Solana and is influenced by Solana in some way, is he then a Solanian hero or is he a Volcor hero? Is it where they're from or
Like if you're a
what they're
hired mercenary
using,
from the Savage Lands, you're getting hired by Solana from the Savage Lands, you're a mercenary. Are you gonna have Solana cards that would be different from your Savage Land cards?
That would be quite cool.
Yeah.
Is Kasai originally from Volcor or?
Yeah.
She is.
No,
Okay.
no, she's not.
Wave, right?
Didn't she like run away and wasn't she like disowned or something or run away or something like that from Solana? Like she was a warrior from Solana that left.
Well,
And his
okay, maybe it's already been done then.
Like she grew up in Volcor. Like she moved to Volcor when she was young, and that's where she spent all of her younger years growing up. But I think she was originally from Solana. Like she actually has a warrior background to her.
I'm just gonna have a quick look.
Yeah.
You guys carry on.
I'm on it. It doesn't say on her about page where she's originally from.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see anything right here. Hey, anyways, yeah. I think it'd be cool. Like if a Volcor wizard, like Kano, were to come into Aria and then like be imbued with Aria magic alongside his fire to morph into something new,
Blazing Aether deals 2x instead of X.
Get him.
Yeah.
How busted would that be?
Fork Lightning has Blazing Aether on it as an option. Get him, Blitz. Just one shot them.
Yeah.
Needs to be better in Blitz, right? Yeah.
Exactly.
Sure.
He's a little weak in Blitz right now.
Yeah.
But I do find the Weave Lightning interesting with the Lexi stuff, with Lexi already giving lightning stuff go again.
I do find what is interesting in that photo, in the picture, is actually that the hand is purple, and there is like purple clouds coming off it, which actually gives it like a darkness look. Maybe we've been thrown off, and that third element is actually just darkness.
Like something penetrating the barrier.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is actually kind of dark.
It's coming down, and it looks like real dark and evil. Like it gives off that sort of vibe with the
and it
dark
is actually
clouds.
like if you actually look closely, it looks like it's destroying the landscape.
Yeah.
So maybe that is kind of, maybe I am right, and it is some kind of influence coming in.
And doing
maybe not a person. Maybe it's these god figures coming in and changing Aria. Things to think about. Although the card, the flavor text that comes alongside it on the thing says the endless energy of Vault Haven is at your fingertips. So
never mind.
Maybe it's just a bloody place.
Go.
Whatever.
It
maybe
turns out we're illiterate and can't read.
Hold crap for 15 minutes. All right.
Yeah.
Oh, it was just battery place.
Yeah.
Oh well. Anyway, I guess we should move on to card of the week.
Card of the
Now
week.
that we've debunked our own tin hat.
Yeah.
In the span of reading one sentence.
So I believe our
Rest
card
in
of the
peace,
week.
Ross.
I think
Oh
we
boy,
have
you
changed
tried
backgrounds.
again.
I assume we've changed backgrounds to the
Yeah,
the
it's
card of the week.
Skullbone cross wrap.
Yes.
The Ranger legendary equipment, which you thought was on theme. But
Yeah.
I think me and Daniel definitely agree with this. We'll read it first, but
way before Monarch came out, we
when Ranger was terrible, we
had
were
a
saying
argument, right, about the
Yeah.
best legendaries. And I said that Harding Cross Strap is up there with Mask of Momentum as being one of the most powerful. Top 3 material.
Skull
And
and cross wrap, I think, is top
You
3.
mean, I think you mean cross wrap, right? Not hard and cross strap.
Sorry, yeah, Skullbone Cross Wrap.
I was
I
like,
get confused.
it's not
They sound the same.
bad, but I don't think it's as good.
Yeah.
But yeah, you are right. I think Skullbone cross wrap is very good. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Alright.
people.
Want to give it a read out for listeners?
You've got the card up, Callum?
Yep.
Go ahead.
So
Go ahead.
Skullbone cross wrap. The card reads: once per turn action, turn a face down card in your arsenal face up. Opt 1, go again. Arcane Barrier 1 and Blade Break 1. On its surface, doesn't seem like much, but this, first of all, has Arcane Barrier and Blade Break in one card. So you don't ever have to waste a slot for Null Rune for stuff like Rune Blade. But I think being able to opt 1 at the very start of your turn is very, very, very underrated.
Massive,
I think it's
right?
an amazing effect for someone that is, example, wizard. You know, obviously you can't use a wizard. It's a very good effect for wizard. It's a very good effect for Azalea itself. But outside of that, I mean,
I disagree with you. I think it's an incredible effect anywhere.
yeah, I think it is an
Just
incredible
being able
effect.
to see
Anything.
the top card of your deck. This is why one of the reasons why Fate for Scene is so good is that just look at the top card of your
Let's
deck.
help set up your next hand. I think there are
put it on
heroes
the
that
bottom.
make more impact out of the immediate turn with it.
Yeah.
Is what I'm talking about. I think those heroes make more of an immediate
Well,
impact.
yeah, they'll be a bit broken with it, but
yeah,
the idea behind so many of the current decks in the meta are playing a lean 60 cards. They have a certain combo that they're trying to get to, or certain really powerful cards that they're trying to use to push damage. And cards like these, or effects like these, Fate for Scene, Sink Below, just let you get through your cards so much faster that, to be honest, if you're Fate for Seeing something, you're looking at the top, you need a really good reason to keep it there. Like, it has to be your combo card. Yeah, right. Or you're sinking it, or you're putting it on the bottom. Blue block 3. You're like, oh, blue would be nice here. You have to really want that blue for you to not dig a card deeper. So just being able to dig a card deeper every single turn means you're going to get to see a full extra hand every 4 turns, which is massive. So, if you get to turn 4, you send 20 cards and your opponent sees 16. That's like a really big advantage. And then on top of that, Ranger can also utilize a top card of her deck. So it's such a powerful ability that I think kind of speaks for itself.
Yeah. I do wonder if we're going to see Lexi and some of the cards that she has interact more with Skullbone Crosswrap to the degree that Levia can interact with Scabskins, or similar to like Chain and Grasp, where it just happens to be best in slot.
Yeah,
I think
it's probably going to end up being a best in slot.
Yeah.
I think top of the deck shenanigans should probably stay Azalea's thing. Just so that Lexi doesn't entirely
push her out,
overwrite her playstyle, right? One of the things with Azalea is, although she's not a very powerful hero, she's a fan favorite, and I don't think people would be happy if someone just knocked her out and just said, "Oh, we're the better Ranger now."
Yeah.
So.
I mean, might happen anyways, but
if you go back to the interview that James did with
be in character.
Fable Hunters, and they asked him, they actually asked him about the Ranger hero, and he was like, the way he spoke was he was really excited about Lexi, saying that she was a good hero and she was a great hero. And then they were like, "But what about Azalea?" And he's like, "Yeah, I guess she gets a little power boost."
He's like, she's all right.
She's all right. But
she's not as bad as she used to be. Yeah. It's like Lexi is nuts and amazing.
And
Like, what
you
about
could tie
Rainbow?
that down to hype, and you could tie that down
Yeah.
to maybe he's like suggesting, throwing out there to spin things up. But for me, I felt like it was like what he actually felt about those two heroes was, Lexi is going to be a good hero, and Azalea, she's not going to see her day of light just yet. She's just getting a little bit of power boost, and it's not really going to affect her too much going forward. She may become better than the bottom hero, but she won't ever be S tier at this stage.
I think that does go on to what I'm saying with what I've been harping on about with these new heroes and how they're going to interact with the old things is that there's not a whole lot of interplay between them. Even though they're the same class, Bolton is fundamentally very different from Dorinthia, and that is a positive for some people, but one is going to be better than the other typically, and it's just going to push certain things out. And I don't know whether you see that as a problem or not is up to you, but I'm a bit concerned about it. So yeah, hold on, Azalea.
One day,
Hopefully
not
the
yet.
ride's gonna get.
I don't think.
Easier.
Yeah, I think she's probably a few more sets down the line before she gets a real buff. Like there'll be an actual story about her going to go do something, or she's going to assassinate a high target, and there'll be the basis of a set or something like that.
I would love if Azalea was more meta than Lexi.
I would too. I just don't think it's likely.
Just from the hero, I think Azalea is a much more interesting character. And I really love her mechanic of being able to flip things off the top and play this risk reward. See a lot more cards in other decks, and also, have lots of interplay between the top of the deck and the arsenal. She just needs to be a bit more powerful. So hopefully she gets the boost.
For sure.
I do think. You go.
I mean, I do think it would be cool if Azalea got a big power boost, because I enjoyed playing Azalea a lot in Blitz. I think the hero is great fun.
Yeah, she's really good fun.
I think it'd be a good idea. I just don't think it's likely, unfortunately.
No, I don't think it's likely either.
Neither.
But I can hope.
Someone's going to be.
I do want Lexi to swing me around, right? I want a few more cards to come out, and I'm gonna go. I want to be able to say, "Fuck, I was so wrong." She's amazing.
Yeah.
She's got a really cool character, and I love how the Ice and Lightning interacts with each other. I love how she can screw over Chain on turn 2. But we'll see.
Yeah. Time will tell.
I just want Azalea fans to get an actually good card. They got so excited over Memorial Grounds.
They're gonna chill, mate.
We got Memorial Grounds. This is amazing. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
We're finally throwing them a bone. Give them a couple cards. Keep them quiet for a few more sets.
Yeah. The card is decent in a Ranger deck, but it's just that it's decent, and the card needs to be very powerful.
Yeah.
It just needs some plunder run tier cards, right?
Yeah.
All right. You guys want to have anything else you want to talk about?
So we're still in lockdown till at least Friday. We're not really gonna know if we're out, which means we're not gonna know well, we're in Friday until Friday midnight, which means there is no Friday night armory unless Greg decides to do a webcam one on that day. I don't think he is looking at doing a webcam one on that day. I think he is planning to do it on the Saturday or the Sunday, just because someone else is doing their armory on that day, and it's just not valuable.
Probably gonna do it on Saturday or Sunday. Yeah.
And that means there's maybe a chance for in person.
I think
potentially, probably not though. I think we're going to level 3. At level 3, there won't be any in-store play. So.
I think Unfortunately, I think that is really bad news for our upcoming road to Nats, which is unfortunate.
We're yet to hear about anything with that. We don't know if it's postponed or delayed, or we're getting a refund. So.
You talking about are you talking about my one? Or?
Yeah, we still haven't got a refund.
Not that one.
We've got nothing. We've heard nothing from that one yet either, which is not good.
Be nice to know, but yeah.
What I can say about my one is that basically, I've been talking with organised play, and the two options that we have are potentially, if they would approve it, delaying it to a date in between the current date that it's set on and Nationals, one that would give, one that it would have to be approved by LSS, and they've said that they would have to look into that and see if they can do that. And the other option is turning it into a webcam event. I don't personally, I have a pretty strong commitment to running in-store events, so if it's an option not to do that, then I would prefer not to do a webcam event.
Yep.
If we did do it as a webcam event, it would be New Zealand only, which is something that LSS have said. If I were to do it as webcam, it would be New Zealand only. But yeah, I won't know anything about that until I know more about the alert levels.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. Thanks for that, Greg.
Yeah.
Yeah. We are hoping to get some videos filmed over the next week or so.
It's really hard.
It is difficult. It's going to be webcam level quality. Unfortunately, it's just what we have to work with at the moment. So yeah, stay tuned. Still going to be us, and we're going to have more time to build some wacky decks. So.
Yeah, exactly.
You get hyped. It's almost spoiler season.
Time.
And we have a spoiler.
Oh yeah, we do.
We don't know what it is yet.
We don't even know what it is.
So we're as blind as you guys are at the moment. But hopefully we'll see it in the next week or so. So it'll be a time to make a really good video for it.
The video won't be released until around September 3rd, though, just to make that clear.
We're hoping that we get it beforehand, like we're well enough beforehand that we can produce a happy video that is of quality enough to actually be relevant.
It'd be really cool if we were all in it.
Rather than rushed for it.
But yeah.
Anyway, stay tuned for that. I'm sure it's going to be a great spoiler, I just have a feeling it's going to be a good one. So
I hope it's a really good one.
Yeah, we're going to get Memorial Grounds 2.0.
I hope it's not in the Absorption Dome level 1.
Why can't that card be good? I'm still sitting on first ed foils of that card.
We're going to get the E-Strike of the set, lads. We're going to get the Angry Man in the Sky version 4.
Yes.
So, here we go. Anyway.
Alrighty.
Should we sign off?
Yep. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Stay safe out there.
Look after yourselves.
Stay safe.
New Zealand. Stay inside if you can. Wear a mask at all times. I don't want to be in this lockdown any longer than you. Please.
Yeah.
Everyone else in the world, good luck with whatever you're doing.
Yeah. Make sure to like and subscribe if you're stuck inside. Watch some of our videos. Cool. See you later.
Yeah.
Bye.